أين تتجه بوصلة الحرب الإسرائيلية اليوم؟ تجاه لبنان أو إيران؟ وإذا كانت تجاه لبنان أفلم تكن هزيمة إسرائيل على يد المقاومة اللبنانية بكافية لردعها؟ أم تحاول القيام برد الاعتبار إثر عملية عسكرية واستخبارية واسعة أو حرب معلومات تشوه صورة المقاومة؟ وما مصير قوات الأمم المتحدة الموصوفة بالمؤقتة في لبنان من داخل العقل المعلوماتي والأممي؟ معكم زينب الصفار، تابعونا. في 14 من آذار مارس عام 1978 إسرائيل تغزو لبنان بما عرف بعملية الليطاني ذات ال7 أيام، والتي أدت إلى استشهاد 560 شخصاً وجرح 653. هذا العدوان دفع مجلس الأمن الدولي إلى تبني القرارين 425 و426 ومطالبة إسرائيل بالانسحاب من كل المناطق اللبنانية ونشر قوات اليونيفيل على طول الحدود الجنوبية للبنان دعماً للجيش اللبناني. إسرائيل لم تتقيد بالقرارات، بل بقيت في بعض القرى الجنوبية حتى 25 من أيار مايو عام 2000 تاريخ الانسحاب الإسرائيلي إلى ما وراء ما يسمى بالخط الأزرق. وفي تلك الفترة بين عامي 78 و2000 شهد لبنان أكثر من اجتياح وتوغل إسرائيلي وسقوط عشرات الآلاف من الشهداء ومئات الآلاف من الجرحى، فضلا عن الاستهداف المتعمد للبنى التحتية، فيما كانت قوات اليونيفيل موجودة في البلاد ولاقت نصيبها من هذا العدوان. وفي تموز يوليو عام 2006 شنت قوات الاحتلال الإسرائيلي أحد أشرس اعتداءاتها الجوية والبرية ضد لبنان بهدف القضاء على المقاومة، وبالتالي استهدفت إسرائيل المدنيين الأبرياء والبنى التحتية المدنية بطريقة غير مسبوقة أدت إلى استشهاد نحو 1200 شخص وجرح أكثر من 4000 وتشريد أكثر من 1,000,000، بالإضافة إلى تدمير بعض القرى والمدن بشكل كامل في الجنوب وبيروت والبقاع. أفرزت حرب 33 يوماً قرار مجلس الأمن الدولي رقم 1701 يدعو إلى وقف كل العمليات الحربية وانسحاب القوات الإسرائيلية إلى ما يسمى بالخط الأزرق ونشر الجيش اللبناني جنوب نهر الليطاني بدعم من 15,000 جندي من اليونيفيل في البر والبحر. ماذا يخبرنا المستشار الأعلى الأسبق لقوات الأمم المتحدة المؤقتة في لبنان اليونيفيل والمحاضر الأكاديمي في الشؤون السياسية في الجامعة الأمريكية السيد تيمور غوكسيل عن الأوضاع على الحدود اللبنانية الجنوبية وعن بوصلة حرب إسرائيلية مقبلة؟ Former senior advisor to the United Nations Interim Forces in Lebanon, Mr. Timour Göksel, welcome to the Inside. Well, sir, you said in one of your articles that the United Nations, which has been running peacekeeping operations in different formats since the 1956 Suez War and up till now, and which has like 100,000 personnel around the world, you said, and I'm quoting you here, is a slow and sadly an inept learner and even slower doer. Why?
It is the makeup of the organization. I mean, it's very difficult to change that. It is a very slow learner because the people who are supposed to learn and apply those things, they keep changing. And ineptness is mainly because of the personnel problem.
In what sense you mean the personnel problem?
You cannot, in the UN, you cannot have an ideal office of very effective, efficient, good learner staff members that you want to have, because you are limited by your nationalities. You cannot just have 10 guys from the same country who might be the best in the world, right? You cannot. You have to have one from that country and 8 from other countries. The quality of the staff is very uneven. This is the problem. And it's mostly because of political pressures that some of these people get jobs. And we live with this all our lives. It's a big problem. It's a big problem for the UN. And so you have, on one hand, you have inefficiency because
Is
of
it
staffing.
out of your experience in the different places you had, or what is this based on?
No, it is because of experience. I mean, the experiences we had, UN, sometimes we laugh at it.
In Lebanon, you mean?
No, every place. I mean, UN itself made so many studies of the inefficiencies, of the disasters in administration, the mistakes made that cost the organization millions of dollars and long times.
Mistakes like what?
Like, you know, buying the wrong equipment because somebody is not smart enough or not experienced enough. I mean, I remember one time, you want to talk about Lebanon, we needed ambulances. Right? So, in the US and Europe, there are companies that they sell ready-made, what we sell off-the-shelf, beautifully made ambulances. But some guy in New York who has no idea of what to buy an ambulance, but he's in charge of it. So what does he do? He thinks...
So he's incompetent for this specific...
And then he says, to impress his bosses, he wants to save little money, because if you buy that ready-made ambulance, let's say that's $100,000. So he wants to save some money, right? So he makes a deal for $75,000 with another. So what he does, he buys a truck from someplace else, a pickup truck. Then it is sent to another company on the other end of the United States to put the ambulance body on it and all that. And at the end, it comes to Lebanon, right? Big deal. Excuse me, the ambulance comes here. We cannot put a doctor in it because it's that high.
It's not designed as an ambulance. Yes.
And so what happens is that we said, hey, we just cannot use this. This is not
This
usable.
is during your time.
Yes, right.
When you were like for the last, or not for the last, but for 24 years
Yes.
as a senior advisor of the UNIFIL. Here I want you to tell me, how can we compare and contrast between the UNIFIL before 2006 and the UNIFIL, which they call the new UNIFIL after 2006? Is it more effective than its predecessor?
Well, effectiveness is different. The circumstances are very different. When you had when I was with UNIFIL, we had no Lebanese army in the south. We had no Lebanese authority in the south. It was a jungle of groups, and I mean, we came. Don't forget, we came in 1978, which was in the middle of the civil war in this country. The original UNIFIL had to live through that and survive in that one. The expanded UNIFIL, some people call UNIFIL too, but okay, expanded UNIFIL that came after 2006 Hezbollah-Israel war, is different because now it's a very major difference. You have the Lebanese army, which represents the Lebanese authority in the area. So if today UNIFIL has any problem, they just call on the Lebanese army. Maybe they do it a bit too much, but the Lebanese army says they're in charge, so UNIFIL has to go to them for...
You do criticize the Lebanese army a lot.
Yes, of course, because look, these are cultural things. Lebanese army is the army of Lebanon. It follows the local traditions, local culture, local ethical, local tribal problems, family problems, political problems. That army has to survive in that one. That army reflects the Lebanese society. So you bring a country from abroad, you bring a Western country, everything is organized, everything goes by the book 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, everything is done accordingly. So they come here, right? And here is the Lebanese army. They have their different ways of solving problems. For example,
you mean primitive ways?
No, different ways.
Different ways.
You have to understand this. If you don't understand it, then you complain. For example, it happens before, I know it happened. UNIFIL sees a suspicious car moving around. Maybe they think it is bringing guns. So they call the Lebanese army, look, we saw a car like this, can you stop it? So they give the number, and Lebanese army says, don't worry, we know that car, right?
Right.
Well, he's from that village, we know the family, we'll take care of it.
Under the 1701, they don't have the authority to interfere and stop the car?
No.
Any suspicious car, so to say?
If there is utmost suspicion, yes. But usually it is now, this is one thing I cannot agree too much with. They have to rely on the Lebanese army for everything they do. Today, UNIFIL is not even authorized to set up a checkpoint by itself.
But Mr. Goksel, are they working under their true authorization? I mean, because some people, some villagers, so to say, have been complaining about certain UNIFIL contingents going into the villages, doing some searches, trying to watch this person and that person.
But this is UNIFIL, although it's a peacekeeping force, it's an army. It's not a Boy Scout. It's not a Boy Scout. It's not a charity organization. It's an army, heavily armed, and they came here with a mission. Of course they have to.
Is this under their mission?
Of course they have to go.
To go and search without.
Excuse me. If I'm a commander of any unit, I come to Lebanon, right?
Yes.
Most of the time I don't get proper information anyway. I'm a bit nervous. You hear about all this fighting and the clashes here and so many strong groups and etc. You already become a bit tense, and you have a responsibility for your soldiers. Excuse me, when I come, I want to know what is happening in my area. This is the minimal requirement. It is the basic requirement of any army in the world, is to know what is happening in his area. This is called reconnaissance. You cannot live without that. I mean, I heard these things. Oh, UNIFIL is entering the villages. Before we lived in the villages.
But the people were complaining because this is like they are violating their privacy.
No, that's never done.
Especially like going into certain, you know how villagers live in the south.
No,
they were peeking.
That is exaggerated. Nobody peeks, nobody enters the houses. Even in our time, when we had the full control of the region in the south ourselves, we will never enter a house unless we had the muhtar with us. No.
They don't do that?
No. They will not do it on their own. They don't violate anybody's privacy. I think it's a bit exaggerated, right? It's because, well, as I said, UNIFIL is much more active. They have much more vehicles. They are better equipped than we were. We had a different way of living in the south as original UNIFIL. We lived in the villages. We lived with the people. We lived in their houses. It was a different relationship.
That's my question here, is that during your time, it was something, but now after 2006, it's another thing. But people were really complaining on things going on the ground, about things going on the ground, and they had some photos, and they attacked even some UNIFIL contingents with stones and whatever to try and drive them away.
But look, whatever was, the change is this. In our time, when we came originally to Lebanon, South Lebanon was empty. So we took over all the houses we need. People wanted us to take their houses, their empty houses, right? So we settled down in the villages, original UNIFIL. We were in the villages. Now, your mission as UN is to bring the people back to their villages, back to their homes. Right? So people started to come back. And there was this very big demand, can we have our houses back, please? No. We said, of course, we'll do our best. It wasn't that easy. We said, of course. So what did we do? But once we leave your house, then we have to take my soldier to someplace else. So we had to build our own bases. This is why you have all these prefabricated white small positions all over South Lebanon. So where do you do that? You had to build them out of the village someplace. I was very much against this. I said, no, this is wrong. We should not leave the villages. Because by leaving the villages, you lose contact with the people. By having your position in the middle of the village, you play football with the children, you have tea and coffee with the guys, you chat, you talk. Excuse me, you also collect information. The people help you. They tell you what's happening in the area, right? It was a fantastic arrangement. But when you have to move out of the villages, you lose contact. So
for peacekeeping, you need to collect information.
Of course we have to. Okay. If there's a threat against me, we were attacked.
For peacekeeping, don't you need also to stop violations?
Of course.
What's your point of view regarding what a former UNIFIL commander said, that it's not the task of the UNIFIL to stop the Israeli violations?
No.
How could you keep peace if you can't stop violations?
No, stop. How do you want to, what do you mean by stop? Physically? Physically, you cannot stop it. You don't have the means to do it. You don't have the money to do it.
Can the UNIFIL stop it by any other means?
No, political means. That's
political
all.
Means how? You just write a report and you send
making
it to the
noise. There's nothing else you can do about it. You cannot open fire.
But I mean, you have contacts with the Israelis across the borders.
Of course. So you talk to them. Oh, you make noise. Oh boy, didn't we make that noise? We did it every day. If it doesn't work, then what do you do?
Right. We're going to stop now for a
Okay.
short break, and then after the break, we'll discuss more further the border area and what's going to take place further in the future. We'll be right back after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Mr. غوكسيل, how do you describe the situation now after 6 years to the Israeli war against Lebanon back in 2006? On the border, is it hot, lukewarm, or cold?
No, it's lukewarm, I will say. I mean, in South Lebanon, you will never have complete, serene, tranquil situation. It's impossible because of the nature of the conflict. But on the ground, it's very calm. Both sides are very careful not to initiate anything. Both sides are careful.
They are keeping their deterrence.
Yeah, right. And also both sides are keeping in touch with the UNIFIL and through UNIFIL with each other, of course, which is, I think, is a very interesting and very useful way of doing things. And, you know, the Lebanon has so many other problems, especially in the north nowadays because of what's happening in Syria. And the focus is not on the south. And I think the groups in the area, especially the resistance groups and all that, they don't want to maybe distract attention from what's happening or cause more problems in the south, because that will really put very heavy pressure on the Lebanese army to cope with the problem in the country.
But don't you think that Israel would try to initiate a kind of rehabilitation war?
No, there is no more rehabilitation war, or there is no more small wars, there is no more skirmishes.
So where is the compass, the Israeli war compass,
Look,
heading towards?
No, if there is going to be a war in the south again, I hope not, but if there, it's going to be a disastrous one. There is no more small wars in South Lebanon. That's why both sides, I think are being very careful about it. Those days are finished. After the 2006 war, we now know that the next one will be a very disastrous one for all the parties concerned.
Because do you think that they are going to swallow their humiliating defeat? Are they going to, if they are going to go to a war, are they going to score anything after the Israeli defeat back in 2006? Because 2006 was not a small war.
No, it wasn't, but it wasn't a very big one either. But it was a touch and go sort of a war. It was a different, unusual war. But the next one will not be the same. And because they learned their lessons from 2006 war.
Have they learned their lessons?
Definitely. They have retrained their army. This is a major thing. They have changed their doctrines. They have changed their equipment. All for the next possible war with Lebanon. Now,
but the internal proof that they are a failure. I mean, and the resignations and this political bickering between various political figures in the government.
I'm just looking at the army. I don't look at the political side.
Yes.
And
the army is suffering from the cuts in the budget.
Right, but as I said,
they need a war to try and lift up the budget.
No, you don't need a war. Is a very expensive war, because this side here, Hezbollah especially, has done its own preparations also, right? Although they don't tell us, but we can guess. The Israelis are telling us what Hezbollah is doing.
But you know, the Secretary General of Hezbollah said that we multiplied our missiles and whatever.
Well, this is what Israelis are saying. He's not going to deny them. If that's the way they feel, let them think that way. I don't know how many
the exact number of the, yes.
I mean, I don't know how many missiles Hezbollah has, but if Israel says Hezbollah has 70,000 missiles, Hezbollah will be very happy to say, oh yeah, why not? Because they are not saying it, they are saying it. Right? Okay, let them get scared about it. Now, what I'm saying is this: the Israeli army has changed its ways, but you cannot. Yes, there was humiliation. I know a lot of them were very upset, but you cannot just declare a disastrous war to make up for humiliation, right? But God forbid, if there is another war, then you can try to overcome your humiliation.
Allow me here to read something from one of the recent articles. It says that the Israeli intelligence estimates that the spring of 2013 will be the decisive moment when Israel will have to act, as well as ensure that the action is a joint U.S.-Israeli operation, as a decoupled attack was unlikely to decisively degrade Iran's nuclear program. So it seems that the compass is heading now a bit not towards Lebanon, but rather towards Iran.
No, if I listen to the Israeli predictions and their very smart analysis of the Middle East and all that, we should have a war every year here. So I don't buy that. But I agree with you.
Yes.
The focus is on Iran, definitely. But when they focus on Iran, they cannot avoid also touching Lebanon.
Right.
Because of the Hezbollah presence here. Now, the biggest question mark the Israelis have, it hasn't changed. What if they decide to attack Iran, which is not easy, but if they decide to attack Iran for this nuclear program, what will be the reaction of Hezbollah?
What will be the reaction?
I have no idea. I don't know if anybody has that idea. They are asking that question for the last 5 years. Everybody in the world concerned with the Middle East is asking this question. Everybody's trying to find the answer. Hezbollah is not giving them any answers, of course not. Right? Who knows the answer? Does Hezbollah know the answer yet?
If Israel attacks Iran, what would be the stance of the U.S.? I mean, they've been voicing out in their statements that
well, they will not.
We won't go for a war. We are not ready to go for a war, especially that nowadays
they might say we are not involved, but nobody's going to believe them.
Because Hillary Clinton said that there is no red lines or deadlines that Netanyahu spoke about in the General Assembly.
No, what I'm saying is this. If Iran, first of all, I still don't believe, no matter who says what, that Israel can launch an attack on Iran without American
consent.
No, I don't think so. That's not in the cards. I don't think so. I think their biggest question, as I said, is it is not a joke. Given the Hezbollah's capability, which was half proven in 2006, missile capability, and now we are told that they have much more longer range, heavier missiles. Can Israel take that risk of launching an attack against Iran without knowing what will be the reaction of Hezbollah, right? Because they, on the other hand, they keep saying, I'm sure you read it, oh, Hezbollah takes his orders from Iran, da 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 da. I don't believe those things so much, but that's what they keep saying. That's the impression they want to create. But without knowing the answer to this question, what if you are an Israeli commander-in-chief, right, and you are going to attack Iran? So now, do you attack Iran and wait for Hezbollah to do something? You are not sure if they are going to do anything or what they will do.
Especially that Hezbollah always said in the rhetoric that there are surprises to come.
Right. Do you attack Iran and wait if something is going to come from here? Because that's a gamble. Or do you attack both of them simultaneously?
Can Israel do it?
Why not preemptively? Yes.
Yeah. Do you think the Israeli leaders are ready militarily and politically to do that?
They are not going to, when a time like that comes, they are not going to attack Hezbollah directly. They are going to attack Lebanon. They are not going to attack Hezbollah militarily. That's too difficult, too long. They have to enter Lebanon with 40,000 soldiers. I don't know. No, that's a major war. They cannot do it. If you are going to make an attack on Iran, which will take not more than half an hour, right? It's not going to last longer than that, half an hour.
Attack what in half an hour?
Their nuclear bases, I guess. I don't know.
Not the Revolutionary Guards.
No, nuclear targets. Right? In a time like this, you cannot do anything in Lebanon. So how can I tell scare the Lebanese not to do anything? It's stupid to run after Hezbollah. You cannot find them in half an hour. They couldn't find them in 40 days. So what are they going to do? They are going to go after targets that will hurt Lebanon. Civilian targets. Infrastructure.
Right.
And hope that that destruction, which will be a very costly destruction for Lebanon, will force Hezbollah to keep quiet. Now, so there are two options. Either they attack and wait, or they attack simultaneously. If you know the answer, I'm sure they will be glad to hear that.
Yes, but according to, in the foreign policy, according to Shai Feldman, he said that now for all practical purposes, it seems that Shimon Peres, which is the country's president, Israel's, he voiced out his opposition for any military strike in addition to the former key defense advisor of Defense Minister Ehud Barak. He questioned for the first time publicly that would Israel score anything and do anything if Ehud Barak and Netanyahu are leading the country in a sense of a military strike. So it seems that they are not so sure that...
Oh no, there have been opposition to this idea from even more important people, even mine, Shimon Peres.
Yes.
Even
Ehud Barak said in an interview, he was reprimanded by Netanyahu.
But also the head of the Mossad, head of this, head of the military intelligence, is that the guys who have the inside intelligence about Iran, and they're all advised against this.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest opponent is the former head of Mossad, Meir Dagan, for example. You cannot, okay, they are retired now, but they know.
Yes.
You cannot ignore this sort of advice. So I think we are still watching political gaming by Netanyahu. He loves this, I guess.
Yes, and so what are they up to, do you think, in the coming days?
In the coming days, I don't think so. I don't think
Sitting and waiting for a tide of change?
He also already called for elections anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Are they going to wait for after the U.S. elections, or maybe try to put...
Before the U.S. elections? I don't think so. No, there will be disasters. They will lose America as a friend, yeah.
Yes.
They can't do that.
So it's true what's being said in the article that they're going to wait till the spring of 2013.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, they cannot do it now. They cannot do it before the elections.
But why till the spring of 2013? Is it the time when they say and presume that Iran could be ready nuclear-wise?
That, and also maybe the weather, the atmospheric conditions. The weather is very important in such a long-range attack. That's also a possibility. I don't know, but it's the climate is very important.
Yes.
And and as I said, there is a feeling that the American embargoes on Iran is hurting Iran badly. Economically, it's hurting Iran.
Yeah, the sanctions.
I was just reading the other day a very interesting article reminding us of the 1979 days of the Shah, Reza Pahlavi, how the main opposition was not from the Ayatollah Khomeini and his friends, but from the bazaar of Tehran. And it was
from the market area.
Yeah, it was the bazaar that destroyed the Shah. Actually, I didn't know that, but there was a reference to something that the Shah wrote after his departure, that he wasn't kicked out by Ayatollah Khomeini, but he was kicked out by the Bazaris. And now I read that there is also strikes already started in the Tehran Bazaar, that the people are not happy. Because that Bazaar, I know that much, that it is the pillar of this Iranian economy, society. If these people get angry, and I'm hearing now that they are getting angry, so maybe the American economic sanctions will work. Maybe that's why they are telling spring. Because I also been reading, although the Israeli government doesn't comment on it, that there are some Israeli thinkers who think that the sanctions are working. Of course,
However,
Mr. Netanyahu doesn't want to hear that, but
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
But the Iranian Supreme Leader said that, no, we're just fine.
He cannot say anything else, can he? No, he's a Supreme Leader. He cannot say we are in trouble. Come on.
You're most welcome. Anyways, former senior advisor to the United Nations Interim Forces in Lebanon, Mr. Teymour Goxel, thanks a million for this interview.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
The pleasure is all ours. إذا لقاء جديد في الأسبوع المقبل مع ضيف جديد وقضية جديدة ودائما من الداخل. بريدنا theinside@almayadeen.net. إذا theinside@almayadeen.net. شكر جزيل لكل فريق العمل ودمتم موفقين.